Because Peter's injured early on in the games, I didn't do a whole lot of fight training for this leg of my journey. It was more so I had to put on about 15 pounds of muscle to make the character have that kind of bakery, strong, like working with bread all of his life sort of guy. He's been throwing sacks of flour.
Josh is a pleasure to work with. He's an incredible athlete, so it makes it very, very easy.
So I had to put on about 15 pounds of muscle. That was quite an arduous task that involved a lot of chicken breasts, eggs, and more chicken breasts and protein shakes, and then a lot of weightlifting for the 4 weeks leading up to shooting. So I was very busy with that to get in shape for the role.
This is 10 long minutes of just this, by the way. Not too exciting.
We wanted to take them to use their characters. Some of them were left-handed, some were right-handed. Some of them move in certain ways, some of them don't. Some of them were not as coordinated, some of them were more than coordinated. And we just kind of took that and ran with it so that it felt like they were doing it.
It was a lot of work, a lot of hard work. We worked sometimes for 8 hours a day, and whenever we had off days during pre-production, I would always try and get in some more training because it was so much fun.
We took them into the gym and kind of had romper room. We trained them to do certain things and to get certain performances out of them.
Training a lot, doing tons of like hand-to-hand combat, like fight training. It was really vigorous and very cool.
Alexander has a lot of energy, and you know, they all do. A lot of the main tributes are careers. You know, Isabel is Clove, Dio is Thresh, Xander. I mean, they all have a lot of energy. They're young, they're very, very eager, and I think in their different roles, you can see it.
They had me doing everything from weight training to combat, hand-to-hand combat, weapons training, blades, staffs, boxing. They had me doing some light boxing.
The physical process was really extreme. It totally transformed my body, and that got me into this headspace of that time and the arena.
They wanted to get me to a position where I felt comfortable with whatever weapon of choice that I ended up using in the movie, because Suzanne Collins doesn't say exactly what Thresh fights with in the movie, so I had an array of choices to pick, you know, what I would eventually use.
I think a lot of the weapons that were designed for the cornucopia were very interesting. They took old school designs like the sickle, the Gladys sword, and you know, through props and art department, they gave them a bit of a capital look. The sheen, the ghosted black, the smoke gray, I think was very interesting.
But some of the blades were real metal. Like, they weren't sharp, but they had weight to them. Like, they could do some damage.
They have like 3 different types of the same weapon. So there's like the really heavy one, which is the one that they use just for like looks and quick shots on camera. Then they've got the like in-between one, it's like metal, so like they'll use it if it's like a little bit of a fight, but like it's a little rubbery, but it's still got like some weight to it, like you can still do some damage. And then there's the rubber one where like literally if you went like that, it would like flap back and forth.
I remember Xander has this big sword, and it would keep changing off whether or not it was real or whether or not it wasn't. And he had this habit of kind of just like twirling it around. But I just remember everyone just going, Xander, that one's the real one. Like, we just never knew when it was real or fake.
So they really wanted us to train so we were comfortable holding these weapons and knowing what we were doing, because if you didn't know what you could do, you could truly hurt someone. And it was awesome because we had the people at 8711 training us, so that was great. And they were just extremely patient with us and got us through the whole thing, so that was really cool. Yeah, some of them were real weapons.
And I got to learn a lot of cool skills. So if somebody swung a bludger at me, I could dive roll under it right now. That'd be totally fine.
It was a whole different world for me to enter in, and it was awesome.